All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today. Nothing is into your head. I hope you don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy.
So you're keen on music? Yeah!
Welcome to episode 190 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, admin on the FAQ message board, and I am joined by St. Louis Kiss, Lonnie.
What's up?
The voice of reason, 69th Blizzard, Cat.
Hello.
And wee little cat boy, alive cat man, formerly.
I need a new nickname.
Yes, I think you do, actually. It's probably time to move on from that phase. So let's do a little bit of the news. First of all, has anyone bought any cool Kiss shit this week?
I didn't buy it, but I did receive some cool Kiss stuff.
What'd you get?
All right, so for those of you that don't know, I did travel to Japan in 2006 to see Kiss, and I had no idea that there was a little book available at the Udo Music Festival, a book and then a little pamphlet for how the stages were set up and everything. And there's like 4 Kiss pages in here, nothing groundbreaking in here, but just I've never seen this, and I went there. I was there.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, but anyway, very, 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 very cool. I got the actual book and then the pamphlet for the book. So very cool. I mean, it's cool. You see a bunch of cool advertisements. I think they had just reissued one of the versions of the Kiss catalog on a slipcover CD at the time. And then, you know, this will work into what the show is later. There is a Rock the Nation live advertisement in there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. So very, very, very cool and super, super rare. And I love Japanese stuff. So there you go.
Excellent. Very cool. And those little one-off gig things are actually very cool. There was a good one for Weenie Roast and another one for, what was it?
Monsters of Rock 88.
Well, no, that was a proper tour book.
There was one for something that they did with Ted Nugent, like in 2003 also.
Oh, yeah, the Wango Tango.
Yeah.
That's the one with
Tommy Thayer's first U.S. appearance.
Correct.
With the Jack in the Box commercial with Jack.
Nailed it.
Yeah. All right, so let's just do a little bit of the headlines from the last week. And probably the coolest one for me is Peter Criss getting up on stage at a Rob Zombie concert in Homedale, New Jersey. You tell me how to say it, Andrew. That's your neck of the woods.
That's correct. Homedale, New Jersey, the PNC Bank Arts Center.
So,
Peter being a New Jersey resident, it only made sense.
Yeah, and Rob Zombie obviously was very inspired by Peter as a legend to get involved in music, and he's also got a guitarist who's had something to do with Peter, I think. What's his name? I always forget.
John Five. A friend of mine and a huge Kiss fan. I got to catch up with John probably about a week ago now, where they played in Cleveland, and John and I just hung out, just like 2 kids, just talking about Kiss. I didn't even care that he was a rock star or anything like that. It's just 2 guys just chatting about Kiss.
Yeah, very cool. He's a big collector as well. Very cool guy. Other news in New Jersey, Vinnie Vincent announced an appearance at Chiller, and that's Parsippany, October 26th through 28th. Did I say that city right as well?
I was just looking at that now, Parsippany, New Jersey. Yeah, both Peter and Ace have both attended the Chiller Theater Convention. It's actually a very, very cool convention. If anybody hasn't gone, I highly recommend going, not just for the Kiss connections, but you know, so that way you could check out the other cool stuff that's there. Horror merch, bootlegs, vinyl, you name it, it's there. It's like a Kiss convention on steroids.
And a lot of the guests, I mean, of what I was reading, there are guests from like the TV series Good Times. Now, if you were alive in the 70s and remember that.
Dynamite!
Exactly.
Dynamite!
That's one of the early things I remember from moving to America was, what the hell is that?
Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, that and All in the Family were the shows I remember from that era.
Yeah, Meathead.
Yeah.
Oh, the family's so racist.
Can't get away with that stuff these days.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was awesome when you could actually say what you were thinking without needing a crying pillow. All right. Ross Radley's Magic Book hit a very major milestone today. So congratulations, Ross. There's still a bit of a way to go to make Magic reality. If you're on the fence, he's hit a massive milestone, and that was the original aim in 2015. Obviously, things have changed a little bit, so there's still a little ways to go, but it's a massive thing to reach. So, I applaud you, Ross, and, hope people do get on board for that little bit left that still needs to be raised to make this happen. Talking about books, of course, Gene Simmons, 27, The Legend and Mythology of the 27th Club. New book from Gene will be published on October the 2nd through Powerhouse Books. I have zero interest in Gene.
He's a ghostwriter, right?
Yeah, it doesn't interest me, but it may interest people, like the people who buy a title like Me Inc. or Ladies in Waiting. This is probably right up your alley. So,
well, he's trying to cross over. Yeah, he's trying. Yeah, of course you are. He's trying to cross over, and he's trying to just use his name, not Kiss, but use his name to sell books. So, man, have at it. I won't read it, but I'm also not going to bitch about it either.
Yeah, good for him. As someone who probably puts out too many books, I'm not anyone to throw stones at any other glass house, publishing house. Last bit of news, Amsterdam Vault took place, as did Frankfurt. But the very cool thing about Amsterdam was Kiss-related recordings, Gel. During his Vault experience, he asked Gene about Bullfrog Beer and a song that he had written with Anna Dalva. And Gene actually grabbed a guitar and started playing along some of that shit. And, just playing it to... The other guy who was there is a very cool Kiss fan who, Lonnie, we met in Atlanta, who had the Vinnie Vincent T-shirt next to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was there, and Gene just getting it out and telling the story, a personal Vault performance. Very, very neat. So that's up on YouTube. Check it out. You can find the link for it on the FAQ message board, of course, and on Facebook. It was posted by the person. But that's what the Vault experience for me is all about. And again, another one was canceled today, so there's
Really? Which one was canceled today?
Apparently Japan.
You're kidding.
Which,
wow.
I again, the veracity of that, I am not an official announcer of anything to do with the Rhino Vault, but some Japanese fans were posting that they'd received cancellation notices.
When was that scheduled for?
That was, I have no idea off the top of my head.
I think August 9th. I think August 9th, or August 8th or August 9th. Yeah, I think
that's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's disappeared from the Vault Experience menu. You pretty much only have the Australian dates, one of which is sold out. And then there is the Sweetwater, which is the 2-day event. And then the Kiss Cruise version, and then the two ones at the tail end, which are Los Angeles and Vegas. So I don't know what the details are with that. I hope that some kind of official announcement is made about what is going on, because there are far too many people who are upset. There are far too many people getting pissed off and really bashing Rhino, bashing Gene, bashing each other, that, it'd be nice to have a little bit more than scheduling issues as being the explanation. Maybe something needs to be said. Hopefully all is okay with Gene. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, same.
All right, so do you guys want to do a topic, or should I keep monologuing? I need to have a beer. So, Andrew, this topic was kind of your idea this week, so take over. It's your show. See you later.
It's my show. It's my... All right. Cool, guys. All right, I'll see you. No, it's interesting because we always have a lot of roundtable discussions about two different Kiss albums, whether they're similar, whether the live albums are similar or dissimilar. So I thought it would be a really cool idea to kind of dissect the last two official Kiss live releases, visual live releases that came out on DVD. And that would be Rock the Nation Live in December 2005 and Live in Vegas, which was 2016. I forget I think it was August or July of 2016. I don't know why I can't remember that date. I wasn't excited for the Vegas one. I was excited for the Rock the Nation one. But anyway, these are two live releases. They are the same lineup of the band, but it's 12 years apart, as far as when they were filmed. 12 years? When did they go to Vegas? 20. Oh, so it's actually, I apologize.
10 years apart.
10 years apart. One being shot in 2004 and the other being shot at the Las Vegas residency in 2014. Mm-hmm. Now, Julian, you went to the residency in Vegas, didn't you?
I did. I went to the very first one.
So now take your damn show back and tell us about the show.
For me, I had been very much looking forward to Kiss doing a residency. everyone else and their dog had been doing them up to that point, especially Def Leppard. So
and Motley Crue.
Guns N' Roses, they all have done them out there.
Yeah, I was very excited about Kiss doing it. I wanted to get to the very first one because I wanted to see how things would then later change, perhaps, and develop. I knew they had always said that they were going to be filming it at some point, so that I didn't care about being on film. Well, I'm not going to be on film. I'm missing the correct attributes. They were never going
Not true. We'll talk about that later. Not true.
They're not going to zoom in on.
You would have been a show pony on there.
Yeah, fat middle-aged English dude in the audience.
You're talking about like 50% of Kiss's audience.
Sitting there with a microphone. Yeah, there you go. So no, I was very excited about it. It was a good excuse to get back to Vegas. It was a good excuse to go see Kiss, which, for those of us in the States, and many of you obviously out there listening to this show get to see Kiss like you have just recently in Spain or Portugal. But in the States, it's become tougher and tougher to see the band over the last few years, unless you go to casinos or fucking horse shit rodeos for state fairs. So,
hey man, I resemble that.
So I was totally down with going, and I had a blast. The guys from the cruise had just gotten off the cruise when these kicked off. I was standing behind the guy who I just referred to, the Kiss-related recordings. Didn't even say hi, but very exciting. Great show as well. You
just reminded me of a really funny Kiss Cruise story. I think it was Kiss Cruise. It was Kiss Cruise 3. I was down on the floor. I don't know, like 10 or 15.
I thought when you said you were down on something, it was going to end somewhere else.
Yeah, that was going somewhere else.
That's after this. That's after the show. Anyway, so I was down on the floor, and I was maybe like 10 rows back, and I was next to somebody from, I think, I'm not sure where he was from. Maybe he was from Denmark or France. Anyway, he really wanted to hear. He really wanted. I just can't remember where. He told me, I can't remember. He really wanted to hear the song Domino. So if you've ever been on the Kiss Cruise, it's like a 90-minute show. 89 of those 90 minutes, this guy was just yelling, Domino, Domino, and finally, like, I took it for probably over an hour, and then I look at him, I go, hey man, I don't think they're going to be playing Domino, so maybe you need to shut up.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, it was the entire show and he never lost the veracity from the beginning to the end, just yelling, Domino, Domino. All right. I get it. Just, they're not going to play Domino. I get it.
Maybe that was his natural speaking voice.
No, I mean, it wasn't, because when I told him, he's like, it was like kind of, what's the character? There's some character that yells, and then like you ask him and he goes, oh, I'm sorry, that was my mistake. I didn't mean to offend you. But it was like it was this soft-spoken person. It was the funniest thing. It was the funniest
totally transitioned.
Yeah, he did. He like went from like yelling to just being like, oh, well, I'm very, very sorry. I'll never do that again. Good times.
Should have told him earlier.
But I thought, like, all right, he's excited. I get it. I'm excited too. It didn't really become a problem until, like, they're playing in Detroit Rock City and he's screaming Domino. I'm like, enough. And I had enough at that point.
All right. Well, we all have stories.
Yeah, we all. Edit that one out, okay? All right. Well. So did Ken or Lonnie? Did you guys go to the Vegas residency?
I went to Vegas. I guess it was the second weekend. And
Now, did you see, because Julian had mentioned that they kind of were toying around with things, did you see the show where they actually descended during Creatures of the Night, just Gene and Tommy?
No. I saw the show. They opened up the doors, and they were there. Was the opening that I got. They did several different openings for those shows, but that was the opening I got. Was opening the doors, and there they were. So it was a great show. Though. It was great time, great trip. Great vibe throughout the hotel, throughout town, really, with Kiss doing the residency, and the banners up outside the Hard Rock. It was a great time. I'm really glad that I did it. One thing, it's a funny story about that, is that we went and we saw him on Friday night, and then we saw him again on Saturday night. And midway through the show, Saturday night, my wife sits down, and I go, "What are you doing?" She goes, it's the same exact show as last night. He's even saying the same exact things in between songs. I'm like, this isn't your first time seeing the band. You knew it was going to be like this.
Same rap.
He's even doing the same stage banter in between songs. I'm like, well, it's just
Hold
the
on.
way it is.
Hold on a second.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you, Andrew.
So, Lonnie, when
sorry to bother you. Anyway,
what were you? Were you the middle weekend that you and?
It was the middle weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want. I know you want weekend one. I guess we want weekend two.
Okay.
But it was. You and I, we hadn't started doing the show until I guess a couple of months later, right before we started doing the show, actually.
Yeah, back when I was saying I would never do a podcast, wasn't it?
Sorry.
A little bit wrong with that. Okay, Andrew's back, and he's going to be having dinner tonight, so that's always a good thing.
After the show, I will. After the show.
You're not going to eat during the show?
You're not going to eat during the show? Come on.
No. Anyway, so you were saying about
that on the show.
Yeah, so it was fun. That was great. It was a good show, and it was very visually exciting. And I guess that's one thing that we'll get into when we start comparing the Rock the Nation one to the Vegas one. It was very visually exciting with the humongous screens, they had on each side of the stage, and the way they were presented in not the smallest venue I've ever seen Kiss in, but one of the smallest venues I've ever seen Kiss in. It was, a very intimate type experience, very unique type of experience that you're not going to get obviously when they go out on tour or anything like that. So, and the set list, we'll get into the set list, and the set list was fun too. So it was great. Now, did we all see them on Rock the Nation?
Well, I saw both the shows for the Rock the Nation DVD. It was shot July 24th and 25th in Bristow, Virginia, and Virginia Beach. So nice. I knew that they were going to be shooting both the shows for the DVD. So two of my friends and I, we made the trip down because I still lived in New Jersey at the time. So we all drove down, and we were there. We actually, so I posted a clip on my Facebook on the anniversary on the 24th. I'm on there. I made the audience shots a bunch of times. 3 different times that I was able to find. I might be on there more. But we knew that they were going to shoot it, and we knew that they were going to be playing longer because I think initially that Rock the Nation show, it was 16 or 17 songs, and they played 19 songs each night that they shot the DVD. And they did stuff like King of the Nighttime World, and at the time Psycho Circus. They did Tears Are Falling, All the Way. Never did all. They did All the Way,
and it didn't end up on it.
Yeah, it didn't end up on the DVD, which I was kind of disappointed because that was like the high point. But they were doing stuff like Love Her All I Can. So, for me, watching that DVD was something really special because I was there. I was there when it was shot.
Well, All the Way did end up on the Japanese edition on the 3-inch CD that accompanied it. So, obviously that I've just probably blown something that we'd talk about later. But, those shows, I mean, very quickly we knew that they were going to be taping multiple dates on that, and there were other dates on the Rock the Nation tour that were recorded. Monterey was also filmed.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and those are the first 2 that I really cared about getting the instant lives from, because they were still coming out back then, and there's very little difference between the actual instant lives and the 3-inch CD that eventually came out with the video package. So those are very cool shows. We always knew that there was going to be a Rock the Nation package. I'd always hoped that it would be a little bit closer to what we eventually got with Kiss Rocks Vegas, but for what it was, cool enough.
Well, jumping back to Vegas. It's interesting to note that Rocks Vegas is the only high-definition release Kiss product ever. Nothing else they've ever put out has ever been issued in high definition. True. Just Rocks Vegas. So that alone was the selling point for me. But I do think that the packaging, I'm going to disagree with you, Julian. I thought the packaging was silly. I thought that the options were, I was being forced to buy things that I didn't want or need. All I wanted was the Blu-ray, and I wanted the vinyl. And I couldn't get them both in the same package.
Yeah, I guess that's fair enough.
But that's Kiss.
Ken went to the Rock the Nation tour because you were at the same show as me, weren't you, Ken?
Yeah, Concord. And that was good. I enjoyed it. I know you said the crowd wasn't. I can't even remember the crowd, but I was getting into it when it happened. But I was looking at the comparison of some of these 2, DVDs, and they did 10 songs. Well, at least on the actual videos themselves, 10 songs they did are the same on each of the DVDs.
It's like most of the set.
That should.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like it. I started thinking, oh, maybe did I just discover the 10 songs they always have to have on there? But it wasn't. It didn't work out that way. But returned the one from 2004. It had I think 10 songs that were not on the Rock's Vegas. So like Making Love was on Rock the Nation, Christine 16, She, Got to Choose, Love Her All I Can.
Oh wait, Parasite's on there.
Well, Parasite's on both.
I Want
You, 100,000 Years, Unholy. I Was Made for Loving You. And I Gave Rock and Roll to You. Yeah, those are the songs that were on Rock the Nation that didn't show up over on Vegas, which only had 6 different alternates on that side, which were Creatures of the Night, Psycho Circus, Hell or Hallelujah, God of Thunder, I guess probably in praise of, Unholy on the other one. And Do You Love Me is on there, and Black Diamond, which is usually a staple,
Yeah, that was funny. That Rock the Nation tour, they didn't do Black Diamond at all during that tour, which I thought was odd.
Not once.
Yeah, that's my pretty much favorite song. So, I don't know. But I was looking at it, both of them. I watched both of them yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and in prep for this. And what I noticed is Tommy Thayer seemed a little green still. Yeah, in 2004, he just seemed a little stiff to me. Where and 10 years later, 2014, he seemed he's just relaxed. It's just part of the team at that point, really fully fledged member. And Eric Singer is a machine, so he's pretty much the same. I think he might have had a little bit more energy back in the Rock the Nation, but otherwise, Paul and Gene were a little slowed down, I think, from 2004. They had a little bit more energy, I noticed, back in 2004 versus 2014. Otherwise, both performances were pretty darn good, at least from what I watched. I enjoyed both of them.
It's been a while since I watched the Rock the Nation one, and shame on me, I've never made it through the Vegas DVD. I've never made it through it. For me as an old, I could say I'm an old school fan now because it's been a fan 30 years. It's difficult for me to sit and watch that because the production is cool, but like I'm really, really distracted by certain things within the context of the DVD. And these are also the same songs over and over and over. I remember in 2004 when they were announcing they were going to film a DVD, I was like, well, they just put one out for the symphony. But the symphony project was so much different than the Rock the Nation project that it made sense. And kind of each time they released something, it was different. And I thought this was too similar to the Rock the Nation one. I know it was a 10-year gap in there, but there really wasn't anything new or anything that was cool about it. I mean, it's a great souvenir for the residency, but it's just something about it was just lost in translation, my opinion.
It had it better. I mean, to me, the stage and the environment that it was in Rock's Vegas was better than the Rock the Nation.
I agree with you there.
Rock the Nation is pretty dumbed down.
The production's much better on Vegas than it is.
Rock the Nation was also outdoors, so the amphitheater kind of setting.
And it's a traveling tour. I mean, there's so much more they could do with the Vegas setting when they're there for a month, as opposed to set up and tear down and we're in a different city the next night.
That's what makes, this topic actually interesting to me, is because I went to both of these tours, or both, dates on both of these tours that were eventually filmed for release. So there's not a tremendous amount of difference between the experience I had, well, albeit in Concord there were 6,500 fans in Northern California versus close to 20,000, I think, in Bristow, and a good 5-digit amount in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach.
In terms of scale, it was, vastly different. But in terms of production value, very much the same between everything that we saw. Now, you talked about Symphony. You talk about this coming out within about a year of each other. My problem with both of these videos and that Symphony and Rock the Nation, is that they are fucking atrociously edited, that they are far too many fast cuts and edits that leave me having epileptic seizures, and I'm not even epileptic. I cannot focus in long enough, and maybe it's my age. But even going back to when it came out, I have never been able to sit through Symphony again. I've never been able to sit through Rock the Nation again. I hate shows that are split onto 2 DVDs for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Oh my God, I hate that.
I do not like DVDs that are interrupted by stupid, folksy, just intercuts that are completely unrelated to the show. If I'm watching a concert DVD, I want to watch the fucking concert, not have a break while Gene Simmons goes to the toilet. And tells you about what he's just dropped in the bog. I have no interest in any of that stuff that they put in the middle of the show to break it up. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I have always had a problem with those 2 titles in particular. When this came out, and that's Kiss Rocks Vegas, it was finally one complete show on one disc that I could sit all the way through and watch. It wasn't horrendously fast screen jumps. And because I was there, again, I was able to correlate what I was watching with what I remembered seeing, where that certainly is not the case in Concord. I wasn't having a seizure while the concert was going.
But if you had been, then you would relate better to the DVD.
Yeah.
Just remember that was very much in vogue in the time, 2003, 2004, 2005. This is how everything looked back then. And I know because at the time I worked at a movie store and we sold hundreds of DVDs, which is a foreign concept to think of now, but that's how everything was at the time.
It's a total shame because the angles, it's beautifully filmed. They did a wonderful job with so many of those camera positions and kind of where they were coming from technically or aesthetically. Is absolutely fantastic, but just the way that it was all put together ruins the whole experience. We talk about which Kiss album would you love to have remastered or remixed, like Hotter Than Hell, in hopes that you could get it. If they would redo Rock the Nation with current production feeling, I would be a much happier camper, but obviously it barely sold as it was.
Which is odd. I mean, I remember at the time that it was shot, it was over a year before it actually came out because it was shot in July 2004. It didn't come out until December 2005. Yep. I thought it was, I don't know why it took so long to edit it. I have no idea. But
Tommy only has so many hours in the day to do things.
Splice things up like that.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things going on with the record company and this. Yeah. But I mean, to me, I think because it took so long to come out, I think that definitely hurt sales. Because if it had come out that Christmas, people will probably still have been jazzed of the show that they just saw in the summer.
Oh, without a doubt.
And Kiss was very, very quiet in 2005. There was nothing at all going on for Kiss in 2005. And then for them to release that product in December of that year, you're exactly right. It's like, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I remember I saw that show a year and a half ago. Yeah, it wasn't fresh on people's minds. So yeah, I definitely agree that hurts sales for sure.
After 8 years after the or whatever the reunion, 8 or 9 years after the reunion, and I think people kind of starting to get tired. They had the farewell tour and everything else. And,
Well, I mean, and that's why they didn't tour the U.S. for several more years. People had their fill at that point. They had kind of, flooded the market too much at that point.
But I mean, look at the last professionally released concert before the Symphony. It was the last Kiss show. It was shot in June of 2000, and it was airing on Showtime and pay-per-view by October.
Mm-hmm.
So
it never got released.
Well, on Kissology, many years later.
Yeah, later it does, but at the time, you really hadn't had any live videos. You have a dead year in 2005 where they do 2 shows, and they throw this thing out. But before that, you'd had maybe little bits and pieces of live video in the Second Coming, but there'd been nothing. So on the one hand, you're excited that it's coming out, but on the other hand, you're like, oh, well, that tour's over, and the band looks like they're giving up at this point. So,
yeah.
You thought that was it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to note that we think that the band was done at that point, and when they came back, it was bigger than it had been for many, many years. And also, too, changing gears and going to Vegas a little bit, when they toured on the Freedom to Rock tour, which is the tour that immediately followed the Las Vegas release, they had a very, very similar stage design to the Las Vegas side because they were touring to support the Vegas record. And they wanted to bring out the show that pretty much you saw in Las Vegas. So it's interesting because I look at this as the elder of videos. It kind of came out and they didn't really do much. There wasn't any interviews. VH1 Classic wasn't doing anything to promote it. VH1 wasn't doing anything. Of course, MTV wasn't. If you weren't a fan of the boards or the website at the time, you almost had no idea that this came out, which is why I thought it, because I just got this book, which is why I thought it was funny that there was an advertisement in here. I saw so little print advertisements for this.
Which don't forget that in Japan, Rock the Nation kept getting delayed and didn't come out until 2006 in that market. So I can't remember the exact month on the details in that. Let's see if it's even on this page on the FAQ. Yeah, so April 2006 is when it finally came out in Japan, which is why it would have been featured a couple months later for the few dates that they did.
Yeah, so this was from July 22nd and 23rd.
Yeah,
at the stadiums here. It's weird. I wish. I know it's never going to be re-edited, but But throw it up on iTunes for $14.99.
Yeah, just a track listing.
Come on,
awesome.
Box set. Here are the raw recordings from the 2004 tour, Monterey, Virginia Beach, and Bristow.
Bristow.
19.99 on iTunes for HD video downloads. Come on, just the raw, basic footage.
Because they were shot in HD, they just was never released in HD.
Yeah. Which is.
There's a lot of things I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, the same. I was happy when it came out. It was great. I don't think I had an HD TV at the time. I watched it and I thought it was great. Actually, funny enough, watching Rock the Nation live kind of got me jazzed and made me go to Japan because I was watching Rock the Nation. I go, this was so fun. I have to go again. And I knew my friends were going, and I was like, hey, can I tag along? And
Oh, I get it, Andrew. Because especially at the time, because Kiss was doing very, very little, and I understand Andrew's excitement that I want to go because I don't know when this is going to happen again in the States, if it's going to happen again, because it's kind of like up in the air for the last 2 years. And I did the same. I didn't go to Japan, but like in 2007 when they did that Hit and Run tour, my brother and I went to Sault Ste. Marie to see him, which was a hell of a haul from St. Louis. But you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had the same. That's why I just jumped in because I could totally relate. I had the same feeling. It's like, you know what? I got to do this at least one more time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm going to get. I don't know if or when I'm going to get a chance to. Because they were doing next to nothing, especially in the States.
And I think to jump to now, I'm a little burnt out. I think I've seen it too much.
And I guess that's why I didn't go to Freedom of the Rock tour in 16. And I don't think any of us and I don't know if you did.
I did. I did. It wasn't the proper Freedom of the Rock, but I saw them in October in Connecticut that year. But I didn't go because I was actually busy playing most of the summer, so I couldn't go. But again, I'm kind of.
And I think I was kind of burnt out.
Yeah, I've
seen it.
I'm gonna go again. It's gonna happen. But I'm saying, like, just talking now. It's been pushed down my throat a little too much, and maybe that's why I'm not excited to watch the Vegas DVD. I don't even think I own a physical copy of it. I know I purchased it from iTunes because I remember I was traveling that summer and I had it on my phone that summer. I don't know if I have a physical copy of it. I guess that might be the only Kiss release I don't have a physical copy for. It is. Everything else I bought. It's weird.
Ken, which versions of Kiss Rocks Vegas do you have?
Ken is like the super duper deluxe thing. He showed it off real nice like one week.
I bought that Japanese box set, that one, the box, and it came with Came
the
with the
book?
sweat. It came with the. Oh, it has
Like
the
a
book.
hoodie and all kinds of
But
crap.
it has the hoodie. Has a
It
hoodie,
came with a hoodie, servants,
zip up
and
hoodie, I think. Four was it? Four
And a
CDs.
butler.
3 CDs and 1 Blu-ray. 3 CDs. It had the extra acoustic on its own, I think, CD too.
Oh,
That
yeah.
video.
Oh yeah. You know what? I do remember watching that. That's actually really, really cool. That might be my favorite part of this set. I immediately skipped to that when I got it. That is cool.
Yeah, so I got, and then I also bought the double vinyl.
That wasn't enough.
The vinyl, yeah. I got the vinyl, but the thing is, when I bought the vinyl on the first day, it came with those little tchotchkes or whatever they gave
Oh
you,
yeah. Like
the kiss matches,
No, that's right.
kiss matches, and the koozie thing or whatever. But
That's
anyway,
cool. I want
I mean,
that.
it was cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy that DVD still, or a Blu-ray that is. But yeah, I can get burned. I was thinking I haven't been listening to a whole lot of Kiss, because I think I'm somewhat burned out. Yeah, believe it or not, and so I'm kind of like maybe waiting for this big thing that's supposed to happen right next year.
Yeah.
And just kind of just don't overdo it with Kiss listening or watching too much, and just wait until hopefully that the tour comes around. Hopefully this area, if possible.
yeah, it's going to come around. But Ken, when's the last time that you saw Kiss live in concert?
That was was it the Def Leppard?
No way, that long ago? 2014?
So the last time I saw him was Vegas in 14.
I think that was the last one. Yeah, I didn't go to the one you went to, Julian, Reno. I debated that one, but I didn't want to sit behind a wall like you. So. I would have been mad.
Okay, now we get to the real reason why I like this is because I finally get.
You can watch the show.
I get to see the show. When I was in Vegas, I was way back. It wasn't that bad actually at the joint, so my view was good. But again, you transplant yourself into where you were at the time. Last year in Reno, I would love to see that show from a pro shot angle. Would be very cool. You kind of remember where you were when you were watching these shows, especially when they release them on DVD, because you have a perspective with which to correlate the experiences. So, again, you go back to kind of why Kiss Rocks Vegas is better. Well, the helicopter intro. I was fucking standing outside with the helicopter, and the wash from it as it came down, and then it landing on the other side of a fucking minibus blocking our view. So I've got all these little things that tie into that video. Walking around the Hard Rock, everything. Lonnie will remember that they really tarted up that hotel really well with Kiss shit.
Oh yeah, and Kiss fans just stealing stuff.
They would
all weekend
everything
long.
off the walls that wasn't nailed down.
I mean, I got a couple "Do not disturb" signs. I was stealing them off of doors and shit. I'm like, what are you doing? I go, shut up, it's okay. I go, if I don't take it, someone else is going to.
Your key cards to your rooms. I mean, menus with menu items.
Menus. You're stealing the menus right as you walk by.
Oh, they're doing a cold. They're doing a cold gin burger. I'm stealing the menu.
I have to have this.
Yeah, my collection is not complete without it. I sold all my shit from that.
I still got all mine.
Yeah, I don't keep anything. It's Ken, when he mentioned it, I had forgotten about the vinyl. I was like looking for a copy, and I was like, "Where are my deluxe editions?" So I forgot that I sold
them. You sold them in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you sell that?
Yeah, I got rid of them. I just don't need any of this stuff now. I do have the vinyl sitting in my Kisteria box. I put it in there, but again, Vegas. Paul Stanley.
Yes.
On the I don't know if he did it for your
The
show.
Catwalk, the little catwalk.
The catwalk.
Yeah,
That
he did that. He did
went
that
around.
Black Diamond.
That was just one of the coolest things. With that disco ball in the middle, and you really got the full effect of it. And it translates very well into how the show is presented on video for people who weren't there. For people who this is only a commemorative of a KISS event, it transports you into that experience very well. The acoustic set is one of the highlights for me.
Yeah, I love that part. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bonus added item for a live set. It was also very well done. There are little bits that are edited that you can tell in terms of cleanup work for the audio side, but it is also an incredibly honest presentation of the band. I found that they balanced fixing what needed to be fixed with what you actually felt was happening there. Made it a very honest document of the band's history.
We should also mention that Tommy Thayer produced Vegas and did an outstanding job.
Yes.
He did a much better job than the other videos that he had been involved with. Again, and I'm not criticizing Tommy's professional skills. I'm criticizing that my brain doesn't like what was done on other things that he's done. And he nailed it on Kiss Rocks Vegas, which is why I've watched that about 5 times as many times as I have Symphony and Rock the Nation combined. Strictly because it's better product.
I like the documentary for the Kiss Symphony. I love that little documentary about how
I haven't watched that.
Oh, it's so cool, so cool. If you watch the first and the second set 1 or Act 1 and Act 2, I'm sorry, for the Symphony. I think it's edited way better than the vomiting, speeding up and slowing down camera angles on set 3.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, they should do more documentary type stuff because I find that a lot more interesting these days than even maybe watching the live concert. I mean, I'd love to see the backstory to everything.
Yeah, well, you'll sit there and watch that as opposed to if you're watching the concert itself. Well, I'm going to do some whatever.
Just seeing it
clean or
so
whatever.
many times, you're like, yeah, I know what's happening next. I know what's happening next.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But still, you know, I do hope that maybe there are more releases like this that may come out, and I hope they're vintage releases because there's stuff that they have that we don't know about, or there's stuff out there. There has to be.
Jesus, Kobo 76. Why has there not been a properly edited together pro shot of those? You know, with the
talked about that.
Yeah, come on.
Wait, why isn't there what?
Okay, you take all 3 nights of Kobo and put together the ultimate.
Giving Andrew an idea.
You've got all the raw material you need for a pro shot with those 3 shows, and yeah, they're all released individually.
Taking notes.
Yeah, come on. Why would they not be interested in doing that? And if they filmed more stuff, oh shit, it's KISS.
Yeah, do you know what I think they should do? You know what I think they should do? I think they should take the 2 nights at Houston and they should use that other night at Largo, and they should sync that to a live 2. That's what they should do.
Now that's a hell of an idea.
Yeah, great idea. I wish somebody would do it.
Somebody.
Damn.
There's somebody out there, I bet, that's doing that right.
That's like an awesome idea, Andrew. I mean, why hasn't anyone thought of that before?
Why has anybody done that?
God.
He's going according to plan.
Excellent. So which one do you guys like better? Julian has sung his praises for Vegas over Rock the Nation.
Yeah, because you know what? The dressing room, photo shoots, the meet and greets, sound checks, theater shows on the road should not be in the middle of your fucking concert.
I like
Oh, Banshee Rooster today.
Oh, no. I like it. I just don't want to have to watch it in the middle of the experience. I want to go to that bonus feature afterwards and say play all, and then go through those like any normal fucking video does.
Banshee
Rooster.
Well,
wow.
I'm going to tell you why that's funny. I'm going to tell you why
I've had a really long day, so
I'm going to tell you why that's funny later. But I don't know, man. I kind of like it. I thought it was cool because I don't know. I love that DVD. I love that summer. I saw the band 4 times that summer, and I have really, really fond memories about traveling from show to show, and just I just for me, I love that. It's something that I watch often. My only complaint is that it's 2 discs. Put the damn thing on 1 goddamn disc. But aside from that, I think it's great. And we didn't even mention
how old were you at the time, Andrew?
6. No, I was.
You got to go with the stroller.
I was 19 at the time, and remember, and I missed the conversation last week, but I did the platinum ticket for that tour as well. So all that stuff. I remember talking with the band in makeup and them signing my box set, getting my picture on stage, and those things I remember, and fondly, very, very fondly. It wasn't. Whatever they did for Vegas, meet and greet and all, it wasn't like what it was back in 2004, and it was awesome. So I remember that, and I was a really, really happy 19-year-old kid. Still lived at home, didn't have a fucking worry in the world, not a single worry in the world. And for me, it was cool. It's I don't know, it's a good little snapshot of my life for that summer, and I think about it fondly every time I put in that DVD. Another quick story about that summer too. It was the summer they were doing the instant lives for the first time. I went to Hershey, got the instant live in Hershey, and when I opened it up, it was signed by the band. I mean, I've since sold that, but it was cool to kind of have at the time. And the show I did the platinum experience for, the PNC Bank Homedale show, no instant lives because of local union laws.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
I concur with what Andrew said, that I enjoy Rock the Nation more for almost the same reasons.
Yeah.
Is that I did meet and greet platinum for the show in St. Louis, and I was 25 at the time, and I was going through a really, really rough time, and that tour and the band at the time made me feel so much better.
Yeah.
And despite, I mean, I was already, obviously if I'm buying a platinum ticket, you're already a monster fan, but it just shot me to another level that summer with them. I did meet and greet, my brother and I did, and we're in the 3rd row. They sit us down in the 3rd row after we did meet and greet, and we're like, what in the hell? We paid $1,000 a piece to be here, and we're sitting in the 3rd row. Who the hell sits in the front row? And little by little, roadies kept bringing up girls and putting them in the front row. My brother's like, just because I don't have a set of tits, I can't sit in the front row.
I ended up being in the 2nd row, but I was 2nd row center. So, and I was right on the aisle. So my seat,
3rd row, right?
Yeah, my seat was perfect.
But that show meant so much to me, and meeting the band for the first time. It was the first time I ever met the band. It meant so much to me to meet them, to see them, meet and greets were so much different back then, where you could actually have a conversation with Gene or Paul. Because there's only 12 of us back there at the time. Well, do you
remember they limited it to 20 platinum tickets per show in 2003 and 2004? Mm-hmm. And then what they did is you all lined up like fucking cattle to take the photo with the band, and then they made a huge announcement: if you don't have a platinum ticket, you have to leave, no exceptions. And everyone left except those 20 people, and it was just you and the band.
Mm-hmm. And they said, here, go meet the band, and you just went and mingled with them. Yeah. And they would sign as much as you wanted. Yeah. There was no limit for or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But that show meant so much to me that they announced like a couple more shows at the tail end of Rock the Nation tour, and Memphis was one of them. And I'm like, shit, that's 4 hours away. I'm going. I don't care. I have to go do it again. It was so great. So, I mean, I saw him twice. I didn't see him 4 times that summer, but I saw him twice that summer, and
still great.
Rock the Nation means. I mean, I went to Vegas. I flew out to Vegas to see him too. But Rock the Nation has, for I guess a lot of the same reasons as Andrew, has a special place within me because of what it meant to me at the time.
Well,
come on, Ken. Let's hear yours.
For me, I don't like either. No, I'm joking. I like them both.
Kiss.
I actually like
Kiss
both.
Sucks.
Kiss.
Why am I on the show?
Holy shit! Why am I here?
Yeah, I like them both. the same kind of, but for different reasons. Basically, I think part of it's because of you just seeing them in a different time. I mean, it is 10 years apart, and a different group of songs that they're playing. That I know I saw the Rock the Nation tour.
Some different songs.
Some different songs. Yeah. So this is
Mostly the same.
Far. Just don't go.
Come on, it is Kiss.
It is Kiss. But
just whatever you do, don't start counting cymbal hits. Don't bring that back.
No. Even
I'm tired.
Even though I saw Rock the Nation and I did not go to Vegas, I still enjoy them both. Even I don't have any sentimental reason to like one over the other. They both stand well on their own. I do agree with Julian though that fast editing on Rock the Nation is annoying, and I would just click on the Gene and watch Gene.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
That was one cool feature.
I can see the coverage or which camera is on what, and I would just I'm gonna switch to that one. Then I'm gonna switch to this guy, and I'm gonna switch. I switched on my own, though I noticed later on, if you do watch the full thing, it does slow down the editing. I mean, right at the beginning, it's so back and forth camera wise, it's crazy, but as the concert goes along, it's not as fast. I noticed that, but it's still fast editing. But otherwise, I do like both for their own reasons. I like the Las Vegas environment that they did it in, and just the colors and everything was very cool compared to the more
and the costumes. Which
the
I
costumes.
The costumes are far superior by the time you get to the Rock the Nation. Kiss Rocks Vegas video, rather than where they were and what they looked like in 2004. They had started to improve. 2003 was a very uncomfortable tour visually in terms of the costumes and Tommy in particular. Once he started adapting into the role and the uniforms, the costumes started, developing to fit where the band were. And once they decided that they didn't have to wear a totally traditional costume, they looked better. They looked more comfortable. They're much more comfortable on stage in Vegas than I thought they felt in 2004. So again, that's personal preference and whatnot. But
yeah, maybe you're right on that. But also remember too, because some people watching it may not be aware, or some may have gotten to the party late. The Rock the Nation tour was like the first tour where they significantly changed the set list, and I'll never forget the excitement. That caused. I'll never forget that. I remember when they were doing shows in like Japan and Australia, and they're pulling out like Going Blind and Love Her All I Can for the first time, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, 2004 was a great, both years, with Peter the year before, 2004. We were sitting on the FAQ message board at that time. I was doing spreadsheets on a daily basis. It's like a new song comes into the set, first performed. It was really, because it was post Kiss Alive Forever, I felt I was documenting on the board in terms of the tour history as we went along. All these new songs that were getting added in. I think there's something like 28 songs total that were performed throughout that
unheard
tour.
Of on a Kiss tour. Unheard of.
And that includes the legs that they did in Australia in May of that year, in Japan in June, and then going into the full American or North American tour, not to offend our friends in Mexico further.
And they did Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll for the very first time, and one of the only times in Australia.
And they did Creatures of the Night down there too.
But then again, you jump forward to the residency in Las Vegas. There was a fair amount of turnover on the songs when you consider that this is 10 years later. This is a band that is 10 years older. It was surprising the amount of turnover in the set that there was during those, 9 shows in total that they did before filming the 2 shows that were eventually released as the concert.
Was it 2? I thought it was more than 2. You might be right.
I think it was 2. I think it was just like the last weekend. Those 2, the last weekend.
Yeah, they probably filmed throughout for some cut shots. I think. I don't recall completely because I was staying in the hotel and didn't have to drive, so therefore alcohol played a part in my recollections.
No.
Fucking English guy, what the hell do you expect? But I do know that the 2 dates themselves were filmed, so. There was just a shitload of songs. It was exciting again when you think about what I do in terms of keeping track of set lists and the history and all that side of the coin. It was exciting in 2004, particularly with the instant lives happening, and we were all getting.
Cool.
It was I did not expect to go to a show in Concord and have them do All the Way. I was sixth row, and it was the first time I'd ever gone to a Kiss concert, or any concert for that matter, and gone to the Will Call window and had a package waiting for me. And
great feeling, isn't it? It's a great feeling.
Awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome feeling.
Once that happens, nothing is ever good enough again. And there were 2 tickets and 2 platinum passes, and I'm like, well, I'm here on my own. Fuck. Should
have found someone with some talents to take with you.
No, I was able to give the other platinum away to an acquaintance's friend, but that whole backstage thing in 2004 is probably why I'm so upset about that video, not meeting my experiences on that night, which were fantastic. It was a great show, but again, all the negatives that I've described repeatedly. And you meet me on the cruise and ask me about this video, I'll probably tell you the same things that I've said in 10 episodes, that why I don't like the Rock the Nation video. And it's not the content of what they were providing. It's not that Tommy's playing guitar. It's not that Eric Singer's wearing cat makeup. It has nothing to do with any of that bullshit. It has to do strictly with the editing, not the music, not the performance, not the memories that I have of that show. It's all about the visual, which will never marry up. So, it's all messed up. I still look back at those pictures because you've just described, I think, Andrew, or maybe it was Lonnie who said how they lined us up for the platinum experiences. I actually have a photo of me getting my photo taken with the line just waiting. And
that's so cool. I saw that photo. That's cool.
There's only like 15 of us. And now it's like a goddamn cattle call where no one had any time on the last meet and greet. It was all so rushed. It was so assembly line. Paul is a goddamn professional and can make you feel special for that nanosecond. But compared to 2004, it ain't worth the money. Well, apart from the fact I didn't have to pay in 2004, which is...
Well, I paid 2000. I paid in 2004, and it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
That memory, and I if anybody follows me on Facebook, I shared that photo. 19-year-old Andrew was just happy. There was nothing.
Ear to ear.
Yeah, ear to ear, and the whole night. The whole night it was ear to ear. The only detractor from that, and this is such a small detractor, is they didn't throw out any picks that whole tour. I didn't catch a single pick, not a single, which was odd. I'm not sure why they were doing that, but everything else about that was awesome. It was cool. It was fun again. The feeling I had over that summer was probably a similar feeling like many other fans had during the reunion or the Psycho Circus tour. Forget about the band members. Just remember what that experience meant to you. And, I was 11 when I saw them on the reunion tour. So I was excited, but it hadn't worked its way into me as it did by, the time I was 19.
I get it.
You can get a pick at Kiss Pick World for that tour.
Not the same.
I know. It's not the same as getting it when you're there.
Never the same when you lean down and pick up that Peter Criss pick at a farewell tour. And it's got a middle finger on it. You're like, fucking awesome. Someone didn't get that. Yeah, so, Kiss Rocks Vegas is like Rock the Nation in some ways. When you think about the songs that are on that video, Creatures of the Night, Tears Are Falling, come on, that is like 2004 do-over. Hell or Hallelujah. It's got the material. Psycho Circus. It's a really... that's what makes it a winner for me. Is it's still such a great set list. It balances the newer with the classic and the obscure. And that's as good as Kiss has really managed to do for me at the shows that I've been to over the past, I guess it's 20 years since I saw them in Los Angeles for the Psycho Circus tour.
Holy shit! It's been 20 years.
Almost.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's crazy to think about. That cycle. That night was. I remember watching that on Fox in my living room.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I saw them at the Garden that year when they got presented with the Psycho Circus Gold albums. Fuck.
It didn't come here.
Why did you do that? Why did you do
Thanks
that?
for the buzzkill, Julian.
Dude, why did you do that?
That's my daily basis. I mean, when you think, I've just
buzzkill.
No, I've just finished it. I've just finised writing a Def Leppard book, and I'm like, it's 20 years since you.
How many arms does it have? See you guys.
Go eat your food.
So it's 20 years since Psycho Circus. 20 years since Euphoria. Holy shit, the years have gone by. And
not true. Euphoria was 99, my friend.
Well, yeah, it was 99, but basically 20 years. Don't be pedantic.
Yeah, but I bought that record.
Don't use big words that Andy don't understand.
No, but I bought that record when it was new, so I remember that record.
Okay, thank you. You gonna lead us out of this episode, Andrew?
Come on, it's Kiss FAQ. I mean, the information's got to be right.
Okay, Ken, would you like to lead us out? I think we need a voice of reason.
You're not doing it.
I don't know. I'll let you, Julian. You can do it.
Yeah. All right, so there we go. We've kind of had a little bit of a battle royale between Rock the Nation Live and Kiss Rocks Vegas. We've got to say it, two very good videos. It's all down to personal taste. I think I mentioned that while I don't like the editing of Rock the Nation, it's beautifully filmed. It's a very well put together package. The packaging itself is absolutely fantastic. I do like this artwork. I know it doesn't appeal to everyone, but there you go.
I love it.
Yeah, you also have pretty good packaging on the Vegas package as well. Packaging on the package. What are your favorites and why? For Lonnie and me, who were in Vegas, there are elements of that which tie back to actually being there. For Ken, Andrew, and myself, and Lonnie, we were all at the 2004 tour as well, so we all have perspectives which are represented on that video. But for you out there, I guess more importantly for the people who didn't go to any of these, which one do you prefer and why? So do chime in on that topic on the FAQ message board or on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever you do watch this show, because we'd love to hear your opinions. Which one do you think is better and why? So we do appreciate you watching, and we shall see you next time. So from Andrew, from Lonnie, from Ken and myself, bye for now. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.